She, being Lunellus arrives at the guard headquarters where the rest of the party is waiting, deposits the box, which Stock opens by climbing
Oh.
inside. Inside, we find
Oh, that literally is where it ended. No, that
Oh, was
is
it?
where it ended. We didn't
Oh,
know
okay. I
what
didn't know
was
if there was.
inside it.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
And that
okay,
actually
we're so-
answers one of the major questions that I had. So that's really good.
Yeah, we didn't know what was inside it. We ended on a cliffhanger and then never returned.
Oh, no. Well, that was actually the big thing is I didn't know if Lunellus had retrieved
the box. Yeah.
retrieved a box.
It was an ordeal, but I did it.
Yeah. So with the stream started, and probably try to figure out what the hell happened last session. So I believe last session started ? With you guys arriving.
Okay, I got notes.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All right, session 17. We get directions to the central mile-high tower to bring Fel to his resting place. The city is overwhelmingly beautiful and comfortable, with everything appearing to be essentially perfect. Celestial beings and others exist in harmony all around. We make it to the tower and are able to step through as our souls and intentions are good. We climb a mile of stairs to the top and find a gate to Celestia and say our goodbyes to Fel. With Snowball asking him to seek out Felina if he might find her. Little breadcrumbs. They head through the gate, and we reflect on the nature of the place. A dog-headed Archon approaches us with a request if we wish to help with an investigation into missing peoples, associated with a certain individual tiefling, Sincerity. As we agree and walk to their house to investigate, we learn that all 5 missing people were not originally from the Outer Planes. We investigate the apartment and find nothing of interest other than some strange sunflies. Lunellus turns into a mouse to be carried by one of these flies to wherever they go. She finds a strange wagon with an angry individual and encounters them, ultimately leaving with the chest from inside, which was a really funny encounter. She arrives at the guard headquarters where the rest of us have gone. Where we deposit the box and the stock opens by climbing inside the keyhole. And inside we find...
Dun, 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 dun. Loot noise intensifies. Yeah, it's a knife. Let me. Yeah, that's a really good summary. So thank you for that. So, the only other thing I'll ask is if Lunellus remembers. So you already also have updated the Mimir. So like that task has been completed when you deposited Fel at the gate, and you were tasked by one of the guardians, who the guardians in these areas are like these massive they're archons or archons, and it was a hound archon. I'll bring up the
He's a good boy.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's this guy. He is Doggo. Woof woof pork pork.
Smash or pass.
Excuse me.
And he introduced himself. He is Varel. He is a member of Excelsior's, basically like their police. And one of the big things, though, I was like, we're trying to remember this. So he is offering you 2,500 gold pieces and a magical item, a brooch of shielding, if you can solve this crime. If you can aid Varel.
Oh, okay.
Did we know about the brooch? We do. I think we.
Yeah.
He offered the money.
Yeah.
No, he definitely mentioned that. He showed us that, and I didn't write that down, but I do recall that.
It's
we discussed who might use it.
Looks like it has like a watchful dog, a watchdog.
I think we discussed we don't have like a super like tank in the party.
We do. She just gets herself killed.
Fair enough. I did mean in the party right now.
Brooch of shielding, but the other thing too, brooch of shielding, by the way, is not really a item for like a tank.
I was associated with like casters because you get more value per point.
No, it's basically that it has nothing to do with armor. You have resistance to force damage, and you have immunity from damage to damage from magic missile. Very situational.
I feel that is.
That's just generally good for anybody, really.
Poor naming.
Yeah. It should be Brooch of Warding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's called Brooch of Shielding because
Actually,
it's part of the
magic
shield spell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So weird thing, but okay.
Makes
So
sense.
you did do the exploration, and I have right down here that Lunellus, something about cinnamon bun. Oh, took a cinnamon bun to Uncle to the place. I don't know why you had a cinnamon bun. Remember why you had a cinnamon bun?
Because we kept giving random items to the sunflies to see what happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and it delivered
so
a cinnamon
we
bun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have that. Okay, so it was a knife. You gave it a knife and it took off with that. It flew away with a knife, and then it flew away with a cinnamon bun, and then it flew away with Lunellus, who was a mouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Our party is the opposite of the knife video. It's like, do you want this? A knife?
Yeah, and then they
Take it,
just
small
A nice knife in this trying time.
give
Take,
a knife.
take this and go do crimes.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so we start back up as where we left off, which is exactly where that sentence left off. So the party finds themselves at the kind of at the antechamber of the of the guard headquarters here in Excelsior. As Mr. Stock dives through the keyhole of the box, and we all hear a clinking and clacking from within as the box is opened up, the latch pops, and Stock oozes out from the inside. In the box, in the box as the and it's like, you know, nothing happens, no explosions, nothing like that. But inside the chest you see 6 bottles. And you can of the 6 bottles, 5 of them have corks in the top of them, and the 6th one, the cork is out of it is uncorked, but you notice that the cork is kind of attached to the bottle itself with a small metal chain, so there's like the cork is still around.
Huh.
They clink as Stock oozes out of them. You hear them like clink, and these glass bottles are they're fairly opaque, kind of like almost kind of like frosted glass, and each of them seem to be ornately they're really like good looking ornate glass bottles, kind of like almost closer to decanters, I would say.
Kind of like angled crystal.
Yep,
kind of
exactly, with that like crystalline features to them. All frosted glass. The corks placed firmly in 5 of them. And yeah, you're waiting for your escort to come and get you as you have arrived, and you've informed the Lantern Archon, this guy who's like the front desk attendant. Informed him that you've been here, that you're here to see Varys. Varel.
Oh, no.
You're here to see Varel, and to question. So yeah, the chest lays open in front of you. As I said, 5 bottles corked, 1 bottle uncorked. Think you're doing while you're waiting here?
Is the uncorked bottle like actually empty?
You lean over and look into it, and yes, it is empty.
I like to pick up one of the ones that has the cork in it, kind of take a closer look to see if I can tell if it's like a potion or something I recognize.
Yeah, absolutely. So you pick it up, and it is heavier than it seems like it would. And there's something inside of it. It doesn't feel. It feels odd. Can you give me a investigation check?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
10.
It feels like almost like there's some sort of sand in there or something like that, because it doesn't slosh like liquid, if you know what I mean. Like it has like a strange heaviness to it where you turn the bottle and look at it, and can kind of see what looks to be some sort of dark object or something that's dark that's filling it, that like moves to the side. Lunellus, with your, I think your passive perception is pretty high, right? If I remember correctly. Dumb.
17.
Yeah. So, Lunellus, as Mr. Gato Snowball is moving the bottle from side to side, the first thing you notice is that whatever is in there doesn't act like a fluid, and definitely does not act like it doesn't act like anything that is moving with the way the bottle is moving. I'm trying to describe this in a way that makes sense.
It's kind of floating within the bottle.
So Snowball turns the bottle and kind of inspects it, and the object or whatever is in the bottle stays on the side for a moment before it almost like kind of like slides down to the bottom and like hits the other side of the bottle.
It's like super viscous.
Yeah. Strange. It's not quite fluid, but there's something in here. Does it seem magical to me? If I use...
Do you have anything you want to use?
Yes. Let me see if I have... I can't remember what I have, of course. I do not have... Nope, I don't have anything particular that would help you other than just my own analysis.
Okay. Anybody else? Stock or... who are we having? I forget who we have here. Is this Atayat?
I think it's a Tayat. Pretty sure it's a Tayat.
Do
Yes.
either of you have anything you'd like to do? Or Lunellus?
I don't think I have anything really to help with this either.
We would like to check and see if it's one of our relatives.
Give me maybe just call it a survival check, Mr. Stock.
Okay.
No. It does not exhibit the viscous qualities of one of your kind.
I gotta be right back. I'm gonna grab Isaac. I'm listening though.
I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna pick up the empty bottle, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up a full bottle.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to point the empty bottle at Stock and say, "Stock, can you like fit in here?"
Well, we can change our shape, but we can't change our size completely.
Oh no. Okay,
We would
and I'm
overflow.
gonna-
We would overflow.
So we need a second bottle, and I immediately uncork the other one.
I need you to roll me. 1, 2, 3. D5.
That's,
Okay.
That never happens.
I know.
That's
So,
not worrying. at
Lunellus,
all.
as you hold the other bottle and you uncork it with a pop, boink, you suddenly there is a massive whooshing noise as an individual comes out of the bottle and hits the floor in front of you, and it's one of those like cartoon style things where they like almost kind of reverse out of the bottle, enlarging in size as they land on the ground in a heap. They blink their eyes and they look around. They look up at you and where am I? What is this? Is this the? He looks around and his eyes go up. And
Yes,
he sees,
it's the afterlife.
You
if
have
this is
died.
the afterlife, it looks very particularly like the god, like the god headquarters in Excelsior. Am I still in Excelsior?
Yeah, that is also the afterlife.
Where is she? Where's that tiefling?
I look around. Do I see a tiefling?
You don't, but as you look around, you hear the heavy footfalls and the clank of armor as your compatriot stomps around the corner, and you see Veril come back from come down the hallway and come over to your direction, and he stops in his tracks as he rounds the kind of reception desk, and looks over at Lunella's holding like the two bottles in her hands, and this individual blinking against the bright light, looking around the room, and Beryl says, "Where did you? That it."
I got him in a bottle.
I'm
like a-
gonna grab another bottle from the box and open it up.
Beryl is like, what? Okay, roll me a d4.
Hey, that's a real one.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know.
No.
From that bottle, there's another whooshing noise as another individual suddenly slurps out of it and appears and falls in a heap on the ground as well. This one is it's a dragonborn, and she once again blinks her eyes and looks around the room, and she says, "Where? You freed me. Thank you." And Varel puts up his paws, and he's just like, Hold up. Before we open any more bottles, where did you find them? And why do you have 2 of the missing Excelsior citizens laying on the floor of the guardhouse?
Yeah, I'm halfway to opening a bottle when he tells us to stop. And I look to Lunellis and
Let's-
nod my head.
Varel comes forward and says, "Let's do this in a more controlled environment, if you don't mind. We'll take this back to one of the, one of our meeting rooms. It'll be easier on them, I think, if they're not being suddenly exhumed onto the floor of our lobby."
We think
I
there's
take
merit
the-
to this idea.
I take the 2 empty bottles and I put them in stock.
Woohoo!
Is that where we keep our stock?
Varel
We are a stock room, yes.
Varel looks over at you as you do that, Lunellis, and gives you a wary glance, and just like beneath his breath, he says, "I hope you realize that is unfortunately evidence. I'm going to have to ask you to, if any of the bottles that were containing these individuals, I will need to confiscate. But we
On
can
the
speak of this.
condition-
We can speak of this. We can speak more on this as we release them. Come, follow me." And he indicates a door down a hallway.
I will follow.
Okay.
But I
So-
found them.
The group.
We're not Lunellis. We will work out the details of this deal in private.
So you follow Varel down a hallway, and you find. I'll just move you over to the lovely little room. You find yourselves in a fairly small, but obviously it's just like a meeting room that just has your basic desk, a lamp. It looks like it's a room for just your quick interviews and stuff like that. And as you enter the door or the room, and he closes the door behind you, he says, "Let's open the other flasks."
I grab one and not carefully at all pop it open.
Another individual falls out, and as you open the rest of them, you find the remainder of the missing people from Excelsior. See Changle, Uruwabi, you already released Wobeke and Adore, and lastly you release Yoi. All of them, Yoi, all of them, you all realize that they obviously fit the descriptions that were given to you of the missing individuals that Varel mentioned earlier, and as they all kind of regain their senses and make their way to the seats in the room, Varel attending to them, they start to just like converse amongst themselves, and some of them they're all asking like, "What happened? Do you remember?" And there's just all this kind of conversation. And as you overhear them talking, and everything points to one thing though: a gray-skinned tiefling approached them as they were, in their whatever location they were in, They remember her speaking some sort of word while holding out the bottle that you released them from, and then everything after that was confusing. They described being kind of kept in this what seemed like a windowless prison, but more or less you understand they were describing the inside of these bottles. There were some more descriptions about seeing bright colored lights, like a bright colored light of some sort, and then feeling the sensation of floating or kind of being lifted off the ground in the bottle, and then later on hearing a muffled voice of some individual, and then being roughly put into into somewhere where suddenly it went dark.
Well, I think that pretty much solves that then.
Varel nods. It seems that this might be a closed case, but we should still go and question Sincerity. We want to maybe see if she would confess outright before we put the evidence in front of her. All of the individuals in the room were just, yeah, Sincerity. That's who it was. They all recognize the name, and it seems that she's like a fairly well-known citizen within the city or the gate town of Excelsior.
Okay, now hear me out. I have an idea. What if instead of just confronting her outright, we have her run into each of these 5 individuals randomly throughout the rest of her day and see how she reacts?
Varel shakes his head, says, "No. With this evidence, we're not releasing Sincerity from our custody. He's going to be probably arrested today, kept under lock and key."
Well, yes, that's understandable, but we just put each of these 5 in there for 20 minutes or whatever, just to talk with her, see if she notices, see how she reacts. She might confess it outright more out of shock than out of threat.
If I may interrupt, you kind of don't need us anymore at this point, right?
I think I would like you there for the...
We are primary witnesses to all this, and
And Varel actually looks directly at you, Lunellus, or just the group in general, and states, "I also need to know more information about where you came upon these flasks. Unless you can provide me with a little bit more information, I fortunately cannot eliminate you as suspects on this."
it doesn't quite make sense. You see, we just came into town in the last 24 hours, and these people have been missing for quite a while now.
I don't know.
And evidently you don't know who comes in and out of your town. That seems a little
Yeah.
sus there.
You would have to go and check with the gate guards. You could do that. Trust me, I do trust you. I just need to... We go by the book here, you see.
I get it.
It's
Better
fine.
safe than sorry, but...
We'll get a quick confession. Make sure this one who's been manipulating people into
Well, here.
strange cells. And
I'm assuming there's like parchment and a pen somewhere.
Absolutely.
I grab it and I write some stuff down and then I hand it to him and I say, "Hey, just cast this on me, and you'll have your answer."
What do you give him?
I give him essentially the blue. I'm assuming these guys are fucking magical. I'm giving him a blueprint or a like,
The
hey,
scroll?
this is, I guess you can't just write a scroll like that.
right,
but
there's like
I'm
rules
like,
behind it.
"Hey, you're magical. Figure this out."
What are you asking him to figure out? I'm kind of confused.
She posted it in chat.
Oh. Good question.
Was I involved? Ask if I was involved. It's essentially my version of Zone of Truth. That's what it is.
Oh.
For like one question. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He looks at that. He laughs and he says, "Sorry, I should have told you before you entered this room." And he like points up at the chandelier, and
Oh.
you already can feel there's just like a pulse of energy as you already are in as
We had no involvement in the disappearance of these people. There you
That's
go.
why the neck on the back, or hair on the back of my neck feels all funny.
yeah.
I
Yeah, you were
think
definitely.
that's because you're a cat.
I am not a cat. We've gone over this before.
Farrell nods. He says, okay. I realize, yes, it's a little bit easier for me to believe you with that under these circumstances. Sincerity will still need to stand trial, so unfortunately we will need evidence against her. I know one of those bottles was unoccupied, correct?
Mhm.
He,
One
correct.
was already open, yeah.
yeah, so he thinks for a moment and he says, I'll need the 5 bottles that these individuals were in, as it'll be part of Sincerity's trial. However, I may just leave the last 6th bottle here on the table, and I will escort these individuals to chambers to rest and recuperate, while you may stay in here for a brief moment as I leave, and then you can follow me out to the chambers later.
I give the biggest, most obvious wink possible.
I see you are of the custom that keeping the 6th chamber empty is good luck.
I do not know what you are talking about. As he
Oh,
as he asks, Lady Lunellis, may I please have the chest that these bottles came in?
I look up at Stock. Stock, can I put my hand in you?
You can enter us, yes.
Okay, I like lean forward and put like half of my body in Stock to grab the 2 bottles and pull them out.
Yeah.
Double penetration in the interrogation room. I feel like I've seen this somewhere before.
He
Jesus.
places the remaining 5 bottles that are that were utilized to capture these individuals in the box. They rest in kind of a velvet pillow thing that have just like the little nice indentations of where the bottles would be stored, and closes the lid, closes the lid and fixes the catch on it, and indicates for the other 5 people in here to get up as he escorts them out. He says, I'll meet you in the hallway in about 5 minutes. I will you can do whatever you want in this room. And as he exits, he places that last bottle, the 6th bottle, on the table.
I don't even wait till he's out of the room before grabbing
Do you at
it.
least okay, actually I do
He's
want
like
to ask
turned
you,
away like through the door, but I like he's not even out of the room before I snatch it.
you hear him under his breath as he says, at least you waited until my back was turned.
I have no. I'm not gonna say anything. Never mind.
I love it though. It's pretty funny though. It's just like, once again, it's the cop he's like I can't give you this, but I won't like. It was the same thing that he did earlier where he's like, I won't what was it? He's like, I'm not telling you to break into this house, but I won't tell you to not break into this house, and I'm not gonna be here when you do.
Won't see you do it, yeah.
Break into the house at this address.
Yeah, go to this. Here's her
In
address.
15 minutes when the guard shift changes.
Exactly. So, I will let you know now that you are now in possession of a iron flask.
Let's go.
time for the
Pokeball.
Pokeball 2.0.
This is, yeah. Pokeball. Wait, I forget. Didn't we had one of these in another? Oh, I
Yeah.
tried to use one. I think in Sins. No, I have one in Sins.
We captured something in one.
I think we got one
in Avernus.
elemental in
We
it.
captured something in Avernus and then
Yeah.
used it. Or was this the what we with the ogre?
No, the
No,
giant was a ball
Sorry,
or something.
Okay.
An iron ball of binding or something like that.
Yeah, which is a lot less powerful than the iron flask.
Right.
Yeah.
Iron flask is legitimately. Oh no, there was.
That being
There's a
said-
fucking demon or something in the iron flask that you guys like.
Yeah.
I forget when that.
it was in Avernus, but I can't remember.
I think
What
that's
was in
before I joined.
I think so. I think it was in Afridi.
Maybe? Who knows? But yes, you are now in possession of an iron flask. It can be utilized as indicated, where you now can, as it binds to whoever's going to hold it, you will be able to.
Oh
will be
no,
able to
Zorali
set
has
the-
access to an iron flask.
What was that?
Zorali has access to an iron flask.
Oh, she
This
does
is-
if you determine. You will set the command word. Yeah, and you can now try to capture something inside said flask.
I have a suggestion. Lunellus has to pick a word.
I'm already working on it. I'm already working on a word that Zorali would never say.
That's so funny.
Please.
I'm glad I didn't even need to finish my statement.
No, dude,
Hmm.
the second Lunellus knows what this is, she's immediately trying to make it the least useful to Zorali.
Great.
Just make the word "I surrender."
I'm sorry.
I will survive.
I apologize for what I have done.
Mhm.
My bad.
Yeah.
I also
Is this a
love the idea
tune?
of
Is this a
saying
tune?
my bad and then throwing a Pokeball at someone.
It actually doesn't need attunement.
Okay. Cool.
Oh.
We could.
It could go to anybody, basically. Like,
Yeah.
there is going to be. You should. I mean, I like the idea that you give it a. What's your safe word? Your safe word is a word that the crazy people of the party would not ever use.
Luckily, bad is just straight up mute, so you can't even use it.
As long as I say a word, bad.
It's not just a grunt. Yeah.
Yeah, just-
But yeah, I'm already working on what word that only
That's
Lunellus
funny.
and maybe Chloe would use.
So, quickly, the time passes as you enter back out into the hallway, as Errol greets you out there, clears his throat, and states, if you would like to accompany me down the hallway, I will take you to the interrogation chamber. One of my other Archon compatriots is already questioning sincerity inside. However, with this new evidence, it seems that her time is up, and we are expecting a confession at any time. I'd like you all to be there, since you provided so much evidence and so much help in this investigation that has been stumping us for weeks.
Hopefully, her confession is sincere.
Ooh.
Fair enough. I'll see myself out.
Sure. Well, you see someone who takes non-consensual kidnappings to justice. That is one of the worst things you can do.
I don't even want to ask what is a consensual kidnapping, so
Oh,
carry on.
Stock would have no idea.
Pay for.
Carry on.
Okay. So as Varel leads you down the hallway, and actually I'm trying to look and see what Varel. So he's like a canine-headed Archon. Okay. So he just looks like Doge. So as you make your way down the hallway, and a door is opened up, and you find yourselves in a more interestingly, it's like not like the other investigation rooms that you were in before, and more closer to a like a lounge or an office. As you enter it, you see sitting on one of the larger couches in there, her arm casually resting on the armrest, seemingly just having a nice cup of tea and looking across the table at another Archon that is in the room. This Hound Archon, similar build and armor and uniform to Varel, looks up as you enter the room, and instead of the kind of more guard dog hound look to them, this Archon actually has the features of a terrier.
It's something that the mental visual of that is just too funny.
Yeah.
Little terrier schnoz looking up.
The moment I'm given an opening, I go over and I like lean over on like hands on the arm of the couch, like lifting myself up to lean over. Hey, what do your like little buggy things eat? Because they wouldn't take what I was trying to feed them, and I don't know if they've been fed. But I wanted to make sure that they had food.
Sincerity blinks her eyes once or twice at you, and she says, "Nice to meet you, my young lady. My little bugs. Do you mean my sunflies?"
Those things, yeah.
Ah, well, I feed them sugar, sometimes a little bit of spice mixed in. It's all very nice.
Ah, sugar. Why didn't we think of sugar?
I can't taste sweet.
The other Hound Archon in the room pipes up, and Beryl looks around and says, Beryl, who are these individuals that you have brought in here? I was in the middle of questioning Sincerity over a cup of tea, but still questioning Sincerity.
Oh, there's no need. We found all the evidence that you'll need.
Beryl has a big grin and says, yeah, Rolm, I don't think you're going to need to be questioning Sincerity much longer. And Beryl kind of just steps over the sofa, steps over the table, and just towers over Sincerity. Your time's up. We found the individuals that were missing. We know that you're in partnership with that foul individual outside of the city. There's no use hiding it anymore, old lady.
I don't know if I told him where I got it.
Oh yeah, or we know that we found these individuals, and they all pointed to you. That you all approached them, that you approached them and said and stuck them in these bottles. He he points to the chest that he slams onto the table in front of her, opens the lid, 5 iron flasks in there. He's like, there's a 6th one missing.
I just kind of pull my robe closer to closed.
Yeah, I was like, well.
Yeah, Sincerity takes one last big gulp of her tea. She looks over the rim of the glass at all of you, puts it down. Well, I guess the jig is up. You got me, you hound dogs. Seems that your meddling kids has figured out that well.
I just look to what is his name? Vandril.
Oh, Veril.
Veril, and I'm just like,
Just
I know. I was like, that's definitely not right. But just under my breath, just Scooby Doo.
He looks back to you.
Scooby-Roo?
What? Scooby Snacks?
We look over his shoulder and there's a Shaggy walking down the hallway, aura glowing.
And
Immense
then
power surge.
From underneath the couch, there's a miniature version of the Hound Archons that come out, and it's fucking Scrappy-Doo! Wow! Oh, yes!
I kick it as far as I can.
Yeah. But Sincerity looks at you all, and she just says, well, good while it lasted.
Well, why are you trying to kidnap these folk? What are you trying to do with them?
Money, you see? It was a good gig. Me and Uncle Longteeth had a good thing going. I would be the nice little old lady who's just here in Excelsior to teach music to children and just tend to my sunflies, and when I see an individual that was ripe for the picking, whoop, into the bottle they go, and then my pretty little sunflies would fly them out of the city to Mr. Longteeth's wagon, where then, once enough of them were delivered, he would head back to the 9 hells to convert these little pretties to grubs, some of them fetching very, very high sums to the right buyers. And I would get my
lady,
cut.
You disgust me.
Oh, thank you.
Why are you giving this information up so easily?
Well, you found out everything there is to find out. There's no hope in me trying to lie to you, is there?
Oh, obviously have to try to insight check that statement.
Yeah, I was trying not to say that.
Granted, we're under one of the chandeliers, which may or may not be Zone of Truth, but just a number of
Yeah,
things.
but that
But
doesn't mean...
truth doesn't make you speak.
Right,
Yeah.
but she's
Speak
in
the truth.
right,
Right.
but she is
Lie
speaking.
of omission. Lie of omission.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, it's been a minute. Would that be what is it, insight against?
Sure.
Okay. I hate to call it out on my.
Can
But
I
I
help
really.
with Yeah.
Yeah, plus
Sure.
0.
You, as far as you can tell, the read is true. He's just, the gig is up, and it's one of those things where it almost feels like there's a sense of pride that her crimes have been like fully found out, a la like fucking Seven or any of those. Like it's kind of like serial killer vibes.
Yeah, Mr. Dahmer finally got caught.
She lets out a long sigh and she just says, "Well, looks like I'm gonna be put away for life now. Lock me up, you dogs." Varel and the other, and Dolar, they both look to each other, and or Rolm and Varel to each other, and Rolm says, "You're going to be standing trial. We don't just throw you we just don't throw you in the brink forever without standing trial. It's the way it is here in Excelsior. We have evidence against you, we have witnesses, and we'll make sure that it is long, boring, and arduous."
Oh, I understand now. Okay.
I think that's time for us to go then.
Yeah, I look over to Varel, whatever his name is. Guys, you sure you don't want a little bit of the old Kabara frontier justice? Step outside. I take a smoke. Well, we have ways of dealing with these sort of things.
Varel looks to you. Says, I appreciate your candor and your suggestion, but here in Excelsior, we have our laws and we have our methods.
All right, I can respect that. Stick to the laws and make sure justice is done.
There's a Rolm presses like a strange like stone that's sitting on, or he stands up and presses like a little stone that's sitting on the desk here, and he just says, "Excuse me, Dolores, if you don't mind, could you send somebody to grab our suspect? She needs to be put into custody. We'll be sending her to trial very, very soon." There's just like a noise on the other end. "Oh, yes, of course. Sending a guard." You hear super heavy steps coming down the hallway as the door opens up, and you see a massive individual standing there, almost taking up the entire doorway. This one is a bear.
Bar.
Bear. As Varel looks up at the individual in the door and says, Dante, thank you. If you don't mind, we would love you to take this woman to custody. This guy.
Fucking
Oh,
What a Chad.
the Russian priest Archon.
A
can
warden
I have-
Archon.
Have your little.
Mhm.
Can I have your little buggy since you're gonna be like not there anymore?
I don't see why not.
I give Varel the biggest like puppy dog eyes.
He looks the other way and he's just like, don't.
Now-
I immediately take that as a yes and run out of the room.
I looked at Varel. Well, yeah, I mean, it's all likely that when it was open and they got out,
I was
they
gonna
just
say,
never
yeah.
returned. Yeah, they're not exactly the most intelligent creatures.
I as I'm running out, I'll make sure that they didn't escape.
You see Snowball, you see Varel let out a sigh, and he writes down something in his little kind of like police notebook type of thing that states, Sunflies escaped during investigation.
I just nod at him as he writes it down.
Sunflies
Roger.
escaped during investigation,
Yeah.
leading, but led to the discovery of Uncle Longteeth and Sincerity's, like, illicit business, or something like that.
Oh, that looks all nice and wrapped up. Do you mind if I smoke in here? It's been a bit.
Yes. You can step
that a
outside
yes?
and do that. Our business is more or less concluded. Now, I'll walk you out, and Rolm also stands up, Mr. Schnauzer, stands up, the terrier, and says, before you go, I do appreciate what you were able to do for us here. So much evidence, all the evidence. It's great. She'll stand trial and probably be put away for quite a long time here in Excelsior's detention center. I must give you I feel compelled to give you a reward as well. He looks along the shelves, and you see him grab what looks to be some sort of like lantern or something like that. He says, here, this should come in handy as you spend more time out here in the Outlands. It is a lantern of revealing, pretty useful when you need it. So he hands that over to you. Lantern of revealing. It is a simple, wondrous item. You can sheds bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light, like an additional 30, like a lantern. But invisible creatures and objects are visible as long as they are in the lantern's bright light.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is really good. Let's see who's going to hold on to that one. I feel like that might be something I want to hold on to.
We don't need a headlamp.
Actually, no, I do not want to hold on to it because Bad would absolutely use it as a flail and break it. So someone else should have it.
I'll go ahead and take it.
All right, so I'm putting
All of mine are even keeled enough to not do that.
You can also probably install it on your shoulder or something. That'd be funny.
So you got that as another item that you received.
Perfect.
And then as you're well, I'm guessing Lunellus is already making a run for it down to Sincerity's house.
Gone.
But as you're gone, so you're out on the street somewhere. The remainder, with Varel and the other 4, you are all out front as he shakes each of your hands and says, also please give my sincerest thanks to Ellis whenever she gets back from whatever she is doing. But my word is my word, and you have completed your task and found out that Sincerity indeed was at the bottom of these disappearances. Here, and he hands over a sack containing a bunch of jingling coins of various origins and different typing, but it's all platinum coins. So if the conversion is correct, it would be 250 platinum, would be 2,500.
Yep. That's a good chunk.
So just so that it's a little bit easier to carry around, it's 250 platinum. And then he also holds out the building.
Yeah, now that one I wouldn't mind wearing. Feel a little bit more safe with that kind of thing. I don't know if anyone else feels particularly desirous of this lovely necklace. And Lunellus is not here.
All yours, buddy.
Lunellus is not here, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on.
Lunellus, I need you to give me a the camera, as you're talking about Lunellus, the camera snaps to like shot from behind of Lunellus like sprinting through the streets, like bumping into individuals as she barrels towards the apartment complex, which is
Give us a deck save, Neon.
You as you're bolting your way there, you fly in the front door, run up the stairs, burst through the door of Sincerity's still unlocked room, and you see out on the balcony, the cage is there. The door is opened up, and as you round the corner and look, you do see 8 of the sunflies in the cage. Their glow shifting from different rainbow hues as they all kind of let out that weird. They all give you that fucking like strange smile, as these strange little things. Dude,
all those faces.
The fucking red one looks so fucking blazed.
It's so...
Yep. So they're trained to bring stuff to Uncle Longtooth, right? So, yeah, for now. But I also think we should keep it that way because it'd be really funny to just give him random shit for the rest of the campaign.
They're trained to go to a location.
Okay. And he left that location, so...
Yeah.
I immediately go looking for, like, sugar and
Spice.
and spice and
Spiced
everything.
sugar.
I mean,
Yeah, some spiced sugar. In the
Oh, spice. I get it now. That's why they're stoned.
so in the kitchen you find a giant jar with like the giant jar that you would find in a grandma's house that just has it's like white jar with beautiful red painted lettering on it that just says sugar, and then underneath it there's like in parentheses it says slightly spiced.
I
Moderately
think
nice.
I found it. I try to like I open it and I go over and kind of like waft it in front of the cage.
As soon as you get close with your, I guess, are you carrying the big jar out there, or did you grab some?
Yes, I carried the jar.
They like fucking Looney Tunes. They start to. Can you give me an animal handling check, please?
They just bury their faces in and start snorting that shit.
Holy shit, you druid.
Fat lions.
So now you can tell me what the scene looks like as you. What do you want to do? You could basically like lead these sunflies like the Pied Piper out of out of the apartment complex and back to your party if you'd like.
I'm not taking them back to the party. I'm going to. Yeah, fuck it. Lunella didn't think this far ahead. I'm going to lead them out of the apartment like they're in a line one by one as I'm like slowly backing up with the jar in my hands, just walking straight through the city out the front gates.
Yeah, we're getting the Fantasia like soundtrack in the background as well. Just bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, 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 da, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, as the sunflies like they follow along almost kind of, as I said, cartoon wise of like the Bugs Bunny smelling a pie type of shit. Just floating along blissfully as this rainbow, as these 8 rainbow colors shifting creatures follow Lunellus through the street. You definitely get some looks here and there from some citizens, but nothing that is actually like, nobody really stops you. Nobody stops you or says anything. A couple kids laugh and clap their hands. Scrapes by with the sunflies closely following you. Them bobbing along. Literally, it's almost kind of like you have a little like a tail of sunflies coming behind. And eventually, I mean, where are you gonna go? Back to the.
Yep, I'm just going back home.
Okay.
And like as I get inside, I just shout, "I need a cage!"
As you shout that, the two Tiefling Gladiator bros, whatever their name, God, what are their names again? Chadigan and have it here. Castle Crew. Steve and Chadigan, yeah.
I remember Chadigan.
Steve and Chadigan, who are in like the bottom floor library area, are like, what? Oh, why do you have rainbow pom-poms?
Why wouldn't I have rainbow pom-poms?
Why do you need a, oh, they're actual like bugs. Oh,
Yeah.
bugs are gross.
I like immediately turn and just like back straighten, hard stare at them.
I mean, bugs are like kind of gross, but also just I don't know, maybe they're just not my thing. I think I saw a cage in the closet. Let me go check. He climbs back upstairs and you hear rummaging in like one of the rooms, and he comes back down holding what looks to be it's one of those cages that are like from the medieval times of where they would put prisoners and hang them
Like
outside the gates.
Oh, like an oubliette.
Oh, like the birds peck at him sort of cage.
Yeah, you're like, about
Oh, God.
this, and it's like his muscles bulging as he lifts this fully iron banded cage above his head, just kind of holding it over his shoulder. Will
We
this
should
work,
definitely-
Lunellus?
dangle it from the outside of the castle and then have them in there.
Yeah, that'll work. You can set it down. We'll figure it out later.
Do you want to like? Do they need fresh air, or do they need like what kind of food do they need?
I just hold up the jar.
Sugar, love, slightly slut based.
Your reading is getting really good.
Oh, thanks. I've been
Yeah.
reading the labels of the food in the kitchen, and whenever Arxis is cooking, I try to read the labels. And sometimes I read the labels on the clothes before we wash stuff.
That's really smart.
One says ham wash only, cold water, no dry, low.
I see. We'll make sure to follow those instructions, okay?
My underwear says dry clem only. I don't know what that
I am
means.
just imagining this is like
Than I am.
Riley and Jonesy from Letterkenny at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And the other one is just like, yeah, furred up, dude. Your reading is totally getting better. The rest of the party. Is there anything else as your job more or less concludes in Excelsior? There's not much else that you need to do here. You have your Mimir. You've updated it with your latest findings from the gate, and your castle awaits outside if you'd like to move on to the next your next location.
Yeah, I think we just move on unless there's any particularly spicy looking celestial magic shops on the way out, you know. But I also don't want to spend a bunch of time shopping.
Yeah, I mean, they actually don't have a ton of stuff here that's like shopping wise.
This because they don't believe in commerce.
I mean, they have little areas, but I think the main thing is just like the items just don't seem appealing. There's not really there. It's more like shops of like tristes on like philosophy of like very ornately bound books and like fancy looking furniture shops. Basically things that are like comfort, like fancy and comfort that like the individuals of Excelsior would want to read about or want to have in possession. Not
Okay,
really
I wanna
any
do
magical
one-
shops or any sort of like weaponry or armor.
I do want to do one thing then, since you mentioned
Sure.
esoteric novels. I want to see on the way out. I'll just be like, hold on a second. This book store looks like it may have something I'm interested in. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll run in, and I want to see quickly looking through. Do they have any sort of tomes on death or the nature of afterlife? That would be not just like your standard ones you could pick up anywhere, you know, at necromancer school or something, but like something that's a little more interesting or esoteric.
Yeah, the individual inside, a dwarf, an older dwarf individual, with some very beautiful robes on, steps onto something from behind the table that he was like rummaging with something beneath. Steps up, obviously onto a stool, standing a little bit higher and looking over. Just hi. You're looking for something with having to do with death, rebirth, something like that. You saying?
Yeah, I'm looking for something more on the sort of supernatural or pseudo supernatural on that aspect. Obviously, being next to the gates here to Celestia kind of flavors that a little bit. So, being that I am not from here, I'd like to see if there's something I may not. A perspective, perhaps, from a novel or a tome or a treatise that I might not know. Nothing too fancy. Just looking for some light reading as my castle drives to the next place.
Well, let's see. Let's see what we have here. Could you give me just call it roll a d100?
All right. 100. 40.
Okay. You spend a little bit of time, 5-10 minutes or so, perusing the tomes and scrolls and books along the shelves, and unfortunately, you do not find any that would be of interest. All you find are your typical. It's very they're very beautiful and well-bound books that look great, but their content is everything that is nothing that is really, nothing that is piquing your interest or looking like what you're interested in.
Okay, I was looking for like, yeah, read that one. That was bullshit. No. Well, thanks for your help. It's worth a look.
Would Stockwood probably have gone with you and asked the dwarf at the counter? Our friend needs a help finding the stuff that most people haven't read yet. Do you happen to have something in, what is the solid term, the back?
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh god. P is for persuasion.
It's also for penis.
Bob's do.
Oh, no.
He looks you up and down and shakes his head. Sorry, my gelatinous friend, there's not much in the back. Is only more stock of what we have in the front. I'm sorry to say, but our bookshelf doesn't really have any sort of esoteric, strange things. We're mainly catering to some of the rich individuals who just like to have good-looking books on their shelves, you know?
Respectable.
Yeah, as you look around the shop, you can definitely tell it's one of those things where it's all beautifully bound books, but it's like it's basically the type of thing where you go in there and buy a copy of War and Peace, but it's like really well, like nice hardback or hardcover book that is just gonna live on a shelf inside somebody's study or lounge living room area and probably never be taken off. But boy, oh boy,
you know what
do they
they
look
say.
learned.
A book in the hand is worth two on the shelf.
Sure, that saying is legit, but yeah, unfortunately, nothing in the shop piques your interest or looks like it would be of use.
Yeah. As we head back, I'll light up the cigarette. Like, well, whatever I'm looking for is probably too spicy for this place anyway. Back to the castle.
Yeah. You can see the spire outside the gate of Excelsior.
Hit the beepers, goes beep beep, and get up there.
As you guys exit the shop, 6 minutes and 11 seconds. You lied.
Get used to it.
Fair enough.
As you all head back to the castle, exiting the golden streets of Excelsior, that feeling of, that overall feeling of just bliss and... I forgot that there is that, like, the strange feeling as you are in Excelsior. Let me just remember what that is. 1 second.
Oh, there's something about being, like, it'd be hard to leave feeling.
Excelsior exudes that strange feeling of ecstasy. Excelsior. Yeah, basically everything is yeah, like the ambient glow, the warmth of everything, all the fragrant perfumes of fruit, ripe fruit and sweet like odors. That it's basically kind of like the Disneyland effect, where
they just pump the smells of like pastries and
yeah. So basically, yeah, as you exit the gate, I think what it is you all get that feeling of an immediate just like, oh man, the world, as you like look over the outlands and like look over your shoulder at the golden gates of Excelsior behind you with its glowing streets, and you can almost see the perfume, like the scent waves in the air. You're just like, dang, out here stinks for a brief moment, until you look up and you realize you got a fucking walking castle as your vehicle, and things seem a little bit better.
It's true. We got a good ride.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I got this thick ass whip.
It's the Twitch voice line. You can't even taste the air out here, but
Oh yeah.
Actually positive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, negative, I guess.
As you
Anyways.
step up into the castle, it raises up and starts to gain some altitude, getting ready to depart. Entering inside, you come upon a scene of Lunellus trying to corral the sunflies into the human cage, the human-shaped cage, as your time dragon wormling friend has come down as well and is sitting there like a curious dog, like sitting there on its rear haunches, fucking toothless style, just like with its head cocked to the side, staring at these sunflies and staring at Lunellus and staring back at the sunflies, and just a little, like, you can tell a little smile creeps across her face, Rini's face, as she just kind of lets out a little laugh watching Lunellus trying to, like, Lunellus, basically it's one of those things where, like, every time you get like 7 or like the last of the 8 of the sunflies into the cage, one of them like somehow pops out and just starts like floating around the room.
I have probably been at this for too long.
Never get tired of it. You're just like, nope. Okay, I got this time.
Yeah, you got your 2 compatriots, Steve and Chadigan, are just like Kronk chasing one of the sunflies just around the room. Just like jumping off of furniture, just like leaping to try to get it, as it very much just like weaves its way around. And then Lunellus, you can absolutely tell, being the druid that you are, that this sunfly is having a blast, just literally toying with. Like, you can tell that it is purposely staying just out of reach of these 2 idiots, and more or less like reveling in the fact that it can make them, like, it's making them like jump off of things and eating it, and like you can see its face. It's as those, the faces of the sunflies, it just has like a wide dumbass grin all the way across its strange glowing face.
I'm like yelling over, like, Sonny, no, don't make them run into the wall. No, stop it.
As the rest of the party enters, there's a cartoonishly loud crash as Chadigan goes helmet first into like a bookshelf, and just does the woo as he like shakes his head, and like a dozen small books fall out of his helmet.
Well, looks like the next leg of our journey might be a little bit more chaotic.
Yeah, with a loud clang, the door, you're able to close the door, Lunellus, and get the last one in there as it lets out a little like as it flies into the cage.
I make sure to give every single one of them a sugar snack.
They all gleefully, like, you hold your hand out into the cage, and they just like swarm your hand like a school of rainbow flying piranhas, and and within like seconds the sugar that was in your hand is gone, and it's just kind of replaced by a slightly slimy residue on your hand.
Oh boy.
Not sure what else we expected.
Well, brightens up the place a little bit.
The Thier comes down the stairs, kind of eyes the scene now down here in the main library area. Well, looks like we have more individuals coming in, be them pets or whatever they are. Well, just, if they do make a mess, please clean it up. That's all that I can ask. Do we have our?
I will clean it up.
Do we have our next destination? It seems that your business is concluded here in Excelsior. All right.
It has, and refresh my
Let's
memory of
look
the
at
next
the
couple
map.
locations. Yeah, feels like it's been a long time since I took a look at this thing.
The team hits the pause menu and pulls up their mission.
Check the journal.
Yeah. So far you have found and updated the Mimir for the town of the gate town of Automata, the gate town to Canicus. Canicus?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have visited Sylvanas or Sylvania, where you
Party
partied it up
time.
with the Fae and with the giant Empyrean goddess, who you helped her through an existential crisis and made her realize that she is not going to be, that she could be a god of good things and not like gods of bad things. And then you also most recently went through the town of Cursed, which was the rusted red dirt town where you found what's his name? Vin Petrol. What did I call him?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the family man.
Val
it was Vin
Propane. It was Val
Val Propane,
Propane,
that's it, yeah.
who wanted you to help his son Fel
His
Propane
family.
to get out of Cursed, where it was once again one of those towns where getting the information about the gate was not the hard part, but actually getting out of the town, as it was the town of incarceration. The gate
Yeah,
town
a bunch
to
of deaths
Carceri.
there.
Yeah, lots of stuff there where you duked it out with lots of deaths there. Duked it out with the with some of the mercy killers who were there after Val, and also where one of your automaton versions of Ateat perished, and where I believe that's where was the first guy.
Eli went down in the
Eli
gunfight.
went down in a blaze
Then-
of glory as you were trying to get back out and over the wall.
Yeah.
And then,
Then
got
went
out
back.
and was like, I'm
Yeah.
going back in.
Trying to settle that score. Yeah, he went in Doom.
Oh yeah, I
Doom
believe
style.
it was Null, right, who went down.
Null,
There's
Null was climbing the rope trick
Mhm.
and was gonna jump to the wall, and just got fucking wyverned.
Yes, God,
And
Yeah, that's
then
what we
fell
both
to the
went
ground
down.
and exploded into a million tiny pieces.
exactly.
Glorious death.
And yes, that was where we like left that scene with Bad just with the whistle and the.
I also think it's great because like Null's whole character personality is just survive by any means, and that was literally the first time he was like, you know what? If I die, I'll be back later. I'm just gonna try something. First try, immediately dead.
Perfect. So
Hold my beer.
you've now completed, and then obviously, lastly, you completed Excelsior. You are back at
That's
the castle.
4 total now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're looking at we're all on the pause menu, or we're in the travel menu, looking at the map, looking at the quest icons on the overall map. And actually, yeah, let's go there real quick. So let's return to big ass dumbass big ass map. All right, as this loads up, zoop, you are currently at Excelsior. Your remaining gate towns that you need to get information on is from the town of Faunal, the town of Glorium, and the town of Rigus. So,
Okay.
for the themes of that, Rigus is one of the towns that is not as nice. Rigus is gate town that is the gate town to Archeron, which is one of the lower plains. The gate town of Faunal is the gate town to the Beastlands. So that is the like hunting grounds and like that. And then lastly, Glorium is the gate town to Ysgard.
Oh boy.
I personally would love for Glow to go to the both of those two. So let's go get Lunella's kills.
Well, it
Yep.
seems if we're seeking death, perhaps Rigus might be the place to go for that.
That does make sense.
Curious about all three, so I'm fine with whichever makes sense. I don't remember if there was any particular things we knew about them, because we had a few like hints or notes given to us about some of the others, but I don't think we have anything on either of these three.
I don't think so.
No, so I mean, the Thier can give you some quick information that so Rigus, if that's the one that if you're curious about Rigus, Rigus is its gate destination is to the infinite battlefield of Archeron.
Oh,
And the town is very much a militaristic, fort-like militaristic.
That does sound like the place to go for a fight.
yeah. Also to get out of the way, and those last two spots might be a little bit more.
Yes,
Interesting
Faunal
to spend
is
some time
is the gate town to the wilderness of the Beastland. You know that its primary citizens are awakened beasts.
Go on.
Slow's gonna hug a bear.
I feel like we gotta go there with Lunellis, right?
And then Glorium is the gate destination to the heroic domains of Ysgard, and the primary citizens of Glorium are giants and humans.
Oh god, they all sound good. So I'm down to just
Zephyr is
whichever
like,
one.
if you
Giants
want
and
me, if you would
humanoids,
like me to roll, if you'd like me to randomly click a destination, I'm more than happy to do so.
listen. I mean, does anyone have a specific one with our current crew that might be preferable to go to? Because I'm fine with any.
I think Faunal with Lunellis makes sense, right? Other than that, I don't know if there's any specific ones that are like, yes, that person should be there for that one.
I think Bad would be a good one to go show up to Rigus. So
Yeah. I meant of our current crew, though.
yeah, I kind of like going to Funnel. I mean, it's even like next to us on the map. Well, that's right. It doesn't really matter because it's the time and distances don't really follow.
3 days to everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, depending. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You can roll the dice.
That sounds good. I'd vote for Funnel then.
Yeah.
So, Zephyr pushes a few of the cogs on the driving mechanism or destination, and the walking castle slowly makes it way and sets off in a destination towards a gate. Somebody please roll me 3d6. Right, so you will arrive in that phase.
Okay.
And actually, so take a quick break. We'll talk about what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 minutes. Go
Break.
grab another drink.
Yeah.
I shall observe Isaac.
it'll not let you play any cards or anything. But if you emote, it fixes that, and you can only emote if you have the battle pass.
Wait, I thought they already had. Didn't the game launch with emotes, like the hello or whatever?
Yeah, well, yeah. Battlegrounds though has its own set of emotes, and they made it so you can only use them with the battle passes.
Holy shit, that's so
I could-
stupid.
Could
That's
use
actually
it.
pretty
What?
goofy.
I could use it with that. I'm confused.
They made it so that you can't use emotes anymore without a battle pass.
Like this patch?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah. At least that's what I've been told. I haven't actually tried it, and I'm bad, and I spent money on it already. But
Yeah,
I
I'll
didn't
teach
get
them.
the fucking choice, asshole.
hey, I did give you the choice. You could have refused it.
I literally couldn't. There's only one button, and it's claim. I literally could not refuse it. Like,
You didn't have to claim it. Look, I got you into that mess. The least I can do is make it a little bit better on you.
Give you a
bitch
fix.
about it.
Also let you bitch about it, yeah?
Also, Neon, I look forward to playing that React game again. I was thinking about it earlier today.
It's very fun. It's simple and complicated at the same time. It's enjoyable.
I've made
Yeah,
the
it
mistake
requires
of
like a
picking-
it requires like a certain like mentality going into it. It's like, I haven't like approached a game in this way in a while, so I feel like kind of like my brain's kind of like, this
It
tickles the
took a
pickle.
like a few moments of the squeaky gears turning. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. It's like the skeleton holding the old parchment. It's like, oh god.
I made the mistake when learning that game to pick the most complicated character and frustrated myself. And then I picked a stupid simple character, and then I was like, okay, I get it now.
And then you made things go boom.
I did.
Mm.
No, React is like a very weeb game. Like,
Like a,
It's like-
It's all about chaining cards and then resolving them.
chaining cards and zone control.
One of the characters, literally, you summon like little clay doll things around the board and then explode them.
Yep. That's the character I
Claymore,
played.
if you will.
That character, I very much made it difficult for Neon to do anything without exploding.
It was not easy. I made a few mistakes. I could have won, but I didn't know what to do about the exploding tokens everywhere.
It's good.
And then you can also give bunnies tattoos.
That is true.
Always needle the bunnies.
Needle the bunnies.
Back to where we are with the group. As your castle trundles over the land, is there anything you would like to do in or eventual a funnel?
Lunellis is making collars for all the sunflies.
Kinky.
No! Not those kind of collars.
You describe them as being made of leather.
I said she took straps of leather. That's literally what a lot of collars are made of.
Are you okay? And I guess like the question would be, are you just doing it so that you can have like name tags on them, or do you intend? Okay.
Yes, I already have names for all of them.
Awesome.
Oh fuck.
All right. What are the
Oh,
names of our lovely 8 sunflies that Luna?
So there is Daybreak, and then Chonfi, and then Sunny, and then Poppy, and then Chesson, and then Astrina, and then two of them, when named, Lunellis is very like kind of somber about, with Vol and Chia.
Oh.
All seems very purposeful.
So
And
It'd be a real shame when Zarali lets them out and
Oh.
shoos them away.
ooh, I would
Yeah,
feel
I'm
that
gonna have an internal conflict on that one.
that's gonna be actually a really interesting interaction eventually, but we'll get there. Anything that like Snowball would be doing during the journey?
Same as the journey to Excelsior. He's going to try to get a conversation with Lunellis, because she was avoiding him since the activity or actions of bad during the events of Cursed, and
Yeah.
didn't push it. Now is gonna be a little bit more like, nice sunflies. Those names important to you?
She probably is like super excited while explaining the first few names, and then kind of just hesitates on the other ones and just lets Snowball read them and doesn't explain. She's like, yeah, a few of them, I suppose. Oh God, what is the pilot's name?
Zathir.
Always forget. I don't know why.
Oh, I have-
Zathir-
By the way, I do have is available to you guys. Castle. Oh, I should add the handout there at the top.
Oh, thank God.
There, Steve and chat again, and then
Chad, yes.
Did Zathir say when we're gonna be getting the funnel?
through like one of the pipes that comes down from above. You just hear Zathir's voice pipe like come out of it. We have like 4 more days.
Huh, how's that for serendipitous timing? So, it's been about 4 days so far. You've been I can't help but notice you've been avoiding any attempts of conversation I have. I can only
I have
presume.
I have been taking care of my new pets as she avoids eye contact.
Yeah, sure. I see that. It's often a good way to avoid interaction is by diving into a task or job you find interesting to yourself that's isolated from others. I can only assume this reticence is related to the actions of, well, the one that came before me. I have some recollection, but not perfect. It's pretty rough if what I remember is true.
She probably has like one of the sunflies like being held, scritching like the top of its head, without looking at Snowball, and just, you would think being around, especially places like this, and evidently the powers that we have, death would get easier.
I look at the names of the last two that you didn't really mention. Don't say anything. I sit down, very much in a, again, taking that sort of paternal air about the same way I was earlier.
I was gonna ask if it's like a paternal stance, and that's just like hands,
It's 100%. It's leaning back into the chair and be like, I'll loosen up the old belt. That very much that, like, slapping the knee, sitting down. Well, sport. But yeah, it's like nothing else. You have to. I have dealt with death a lot in my life. I have taken tragedy in my past and made decisions that I think may have been taken differently by others that I now potentially share some sort of temporal anomaly with. That is something I still need to understand more myself. However, I took this experience of death and loss and used it to seek out absolution and understanding. I spent way too many years at the bottom of a bottle trying to figure things out until I came to peace. And death, well, death's just, again, a part of life, even for those who have multiple. I see death as just one other aspect, one other state of being. It's neither permanent nor terminal, and can be used, accessed, and even discussed with. I have a few things I've picked up in my studies in my time that have helped me come to grips with loss of loved ones and things. Is there anything you would like to talk about? And do keep in mind, and I'm trying to make this very clear, those other ones, the ones you've seen, the violence caused, that's not me. I may have something of that in me, maybe some feral aspect that I have either overcome or pushed deep down below, or I found other avenues for, but we're not the same. So please don't ascribe any of those particular savage actions to myself or the other. But as I said, I have a lot of experience with this, and you do seem to be, again, glancing at the two names you didn't really want to speak, having some unrequited tragedy of your own that maybe you want to talk about.
I am not new to death. I appreciate the offer. But no, bad is not you. But that doesn't change the fact that you're not Eli either.
No. And all three of us, I think, have some aspect of the other within, but our agencies are our own. We all seem to take a different approach to, well, things that have occurred in our past. And some of us a little bit more healthy than the others. I can't help but wonder, you have some memories of the others that you have been or co-inhabited or whatever this is. They're very different from you. Is that making you uncomfortable, or do you just sort of ignore that?
As I'm sure you attest, you don't really ignore it. But there's a lot of similarities that, well, they answer questions that maybe I didn't want answered.
Snowball kind of leans forward, and actually, you do get a little grimace into a smile on that one. I really feel that one deeply. Yeah. Well, perhaps as we are more similar in this than we may think, if things get difficult, we have some time on the road, we can always just talk it out, feel it. You know, I feel at least, well, not with one, not the big guy with the axes. I would not want to, don't talk to him. But if I'm around, or even Eli, I think, he's got a good head on his shoulders as far as I can tell. Being that it's my head. I don't know, it's confusing. But I think we could probably work through some things. It's complicated, it's difficult. I'm not sure if Atayat and the others of him are as open to this, as it seems to be more of a programmatic thing, and, well, we haven't seen what stock can turn into yet. Get a pensive look thinking about that.
We all turn to stock and pull knives from our belts.
Hey, buddy.
What do you taste
I
like?
just want to talk. I just want to talk.
I just want to shake
Oh,
your
it's
hand.
the. No, wait, hold on. I gotta get the.
Oh wait, no, is it the what am
just-
I being arrested for?
No, it's
Oh, a
this
meal.
one here.
A
wanna talk
succulent
to him.
Chinese meal?
I just want to talk to him. Yeah, I just want to talk to
I
him.
just want to talk. I just want to talk. I just want to shoot. I just want to talk.
Talk to him. But yeah, I think I'll let that kind of like linger off as maybe you're still working on the collar as I'm sitting back, rolling up a cigarette and kind of pensive thought. Just let that thought linger out. The offer of conversation remain.
Lunellis kind of glances up as you're like rolling a cigarette, and then just kind of gives like just a half laugh. You know those will kill you, right?
Yeah, I'm all right with that. As I light it up, I'll use prestidigitation to make the smoke move away from Lunellis,
You know,
which I think you can do.
or
Yeah, puff of wind.
I literally fell on you guys. I didn't spend a lot of time with people
Mm. Yeah, I kind of got that sense. You were more on the wild side.
Well, it's kinda what happens when you float through the astral sea for a while. I also meet a lot of weird people. Did you know that there's like multiple gods of death? I didn't know that for a long time.
Well, I mean, for my
Why do they need
studies,
more than one?
yeah, different cultures have their own aspects of it, and maybe they're all busy, and certain ones want to be gathered in certain ways, or they see the
Well, when
personification of the end coming in different methods. I
Some
don't
of
know.
them are furries.
when
Some are. That's true.
when I met
Anubis
the
does
one,
have
I
it.
thought it was just him. I didn't learn that it wasn't just him for a long
All
time.
right, hold up. I just pushed my glasses a little. Ugh. I want to rewind you about 5 seconds there. Which ones you meet?
I don't remember his. It was a long time ago.
It's an astral sea.
It's weird. I'm not quite sure how long I was floating there.
Uh-huh.
But anyway,
Do you remember your time before you were floating in that sea? I'm not done with the God thing, by the way. I want to get back to that, but I just
her face does kind of drop, and she glances at the two names that she didn't say.
I see. I won't pry further unless you wish to talk about it, but I can kind of put pieces together there. Now, back to this God entity you met. What exactly was? I mean, I'm just answering around it. How do you know this was some sort of God of death, and how did you? This is fact. You have to understand. My studies since a long time ago, my studies have been focused on the nature of death and that which comes after. So this is fascinating to me. I'd like to take some notes if you don't mind. I probably pull out a kind of an old beat up leather journal. And it's like, I'll write down.
I guess I didn't technically fact check it, but you know, you see a lot of things that you just kind of roll with it when a giant being you meet in space tells you that and they teach you like spells and stuff. I'm assuming this doesn't happen to most people, but maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Happened to
most of
me.
us. What? Hold up. Hold up. Most of us learn just from study and reading. That's where I got my abilities. Huh? I've been called that before. A little rough around the edges, but I got a good head.
Let's just say I have
I'll be honest, I thought everybody got their magic from a god.
What
Well,
god would that be?
I didn't get it from him. He just taught me how to, speak the words and do the do's, and
You mind giving a little demonstration? What sort of spells that he taught you?
I look around. Oh, I still have the bones that I picked up.
Oh,
I
Also-
go the sunfly in the cage, and I go and find my pack with the bones, and I put him out, and I cast Animate Dead.
I was about to do the same thing.
I'd also like to point out, Atayan is actually butting in. He is standing against the doorway on the other side of the room, pretending he's not listening, but then still responding, and immediately pretending like he's not listening again.
But loud enough that it's clear we can hear him.
Yeah, exactly.
Snowball's made a note to ask him something in a bit, but seeing Animate Dead go off, you would get. Well, one, what is it? I guess. What happens?
Yeah, what are you animating?
Because it's just it literally is a pile of bones. I can't remember what it was. It's been too long. I think it was just. I asked somebody if I could take the bones. I can't remember what it was. But she literally uses her blood as to create mock tendons and connecting the bones and.
You're gonna snap the weird, almost kind of, I I hate to use the example of it, but the fart with reverb reversed sound, but like the sound of like tendons unsnapping, you know, like
Oh, lashing together. Yeah.
as this
And it has zero reaction to it.
yeah. As everything just slurps back together, does it look like, I know it was like a pile of bones, and I'm still trying to remember where the hell you got them.
I don't remember, but my brain is telling me that it would be really funny if they were the bones of Val Propane's kid.
Oh God.
No,
Jesus.
I think it was.
They were somewhere, and I literally asked if I could take the bones. I don't remember what it was from.
Oh, was it the things that were guarding the like sewer exit
Nope,
to the city?
I know exactly where it was. It was on in between leaving the party place and going to Cursed. You
it was
took the bones from the like lunar creature.
That's right.
Oh,
those
yes,
are some big
yeah.
fucking bones.
Well, no, that was two. That's two separate instances. I did take those bones, but I took no. You're right. I asked if I could take the. Yeah, you're right.
Because you're like you
And it
wanted
was, like-
permission. You wanted permission to use the body.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I probably didn't get all of them, but enough to make, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not going to be a humanoid.
Hey.
It's going to be some sort of kind of bone golem look shape to whatever you. Yeah, you are able to together. This. Would you want it to look human? You could try to make it look human if you want to, or I don't know what you'd think.
I probably would try to make it look like a baby version of the lunar creature,
Okay. So
like with
like a smaller version of that four-legged.
Yeah, and there is, when it finishes, when it's standing there, there is like a very thin strand of blood connecting it to me.
During this, when you're casting it and everything, and I've been kind of sitting there and the lazy boy leaning back, absolutely sit up, and I'm standing up. I'm walking around as it's going, being slurped together, and very careful, like looking at the spell, like trying to see how it's going together, like a scientist looking at an experiment. And when it's done and it's sitting there, he looks up, look back to you. That is an unusual method. And I'll think about this. Does this seem? Maybe this is a question for Linellus or for Scuzz. Is there anything particular about the way this is cast that is unusual or different, or like as a literally a necromancy savant, I would try to be able to understand the nature of this animate dead.
Okay. Give me an arcana check with
Okay.
advantage.
Okay.
She
16.
She Heimer on my dinger until I arcana.
Oh, God.
Yeah, 16. A 16 you would be able to very much tell. Noel would know that whatever is being cast here is definitely being cast in an it is not your usual way that you would have cast animate dead.
That is fascinating and macabre.
I would almost say it would be. It's like seeing an alternative translation of something that you've read 100 times, and knowing that it does the same thing, but it's like you're like, I would never have thought to do it that way.
It's the Icelandic version of Dracula.
It's just kind of.
Almost more puppetry than reanimation.
Yeah,
Right.
That's a good point.
And actually, it's funny enough, when I realized that scene, the thread of blood connecting you to it, you would actually see briefly Snowball's eyes kind of go, not dark, but kind of like distrustful, or it's a brief thing, but it's definitely kind of a revulsion almost to it before the just a general intellectual curiosity takes over.
I would assume. I mean, I'll roll it if you want, but 17 passive wisdom perception.
Oh, it is not trying to hide really anything here.
She would probably take the reaction and just immediately like drop the spell.
If you do that, and I would just out of instinct help cancel the spell. Out of it, there's a thing I do which is to request. Well, as I see it going down, I would pass my hand over it, and you would see kind of a freezing fog help break apart the things that are holding it together to return to the bones. And it's not like you would see this not as like I must do this. It's just sort of almost like a instinctual reaction, almost like doing like a Hail Mary or something like that.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Well, you learned how to bring back the dead from some other aspect of death that I myself am not familiar with. This universe is a fascinating and macabre place. And I assume we're all like sitting around, and does anyone else like just
I like to
react to-
imagine that Ateus is leaning against the door to listen, and the door is open.
I wonder what Chadigan thought about the corpse.
It's not even that subtle, Nian. I'm on the inside of the room, leaning against the wall next to the door frame.
Oh, you're doing
looking the other direction.
You're doing the dad who's watching a movie but won't sit down for it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at the TV screen, but like you can definitely tell, like my ear is pointed directly at you, and like I am reacting to things that are being said.
After kind of musing upon that for a bit, unless you have anything else to say, I would turn to Atea and be like, "You said you got also magic from a god. That's a little new. Care to explain that?"
Hard to say whether or not it's a god.
Yeah, that seems to be a theme about now.
Yeah, more of a claimed to be a god. And I have no reason to deny that, because I do have magical abilities I did not have before. But not in the same way as, like, a follower of a god. More of a been touched by, and
Do we need to go back to Excelsior and like make a report?
no, more touched in the divine sense. They referred to them as the spark of revolution, and well,
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. We conversations with your previous incarnations were also with the previous incarnations. So, were you all? Is this something it's universal to your experience of these various aspects of yourself? Is that more of your current experience?
that is my current experience. The
Interesting.
first of me that you met, that the other of you met. Well, let's put it this way: the spark of revolution was against the one that was in command of the consciousness of the first.
Oh, you're taking that internal conflict quite literally.
Yeah, it is. So it's a little hazy, but from what I gather, I was created to keep the balance of things in, I believe, the same world that you come from. There was too much good and too much chaos, so my kind were created to spread lawfulness and evil, to balance out the world.
Right.
I escaped, and when I was given this spark, and helped the revolutionaries fight against them. The other, Null, I believe he was called, he was a reject from the factory. Stole a rifle on the way out, survived on his own. But the first of me is not to be trusted. That is all I will say.
Wait, I'm out of character. Have we seen all three of yours?
Yeah. So the one that I started as is the one that is the evil one.
And that's the
right?
one that basically it died early on, right?
Yeah, died literally first session.
Yes. Okay, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
you guys
I
didn't get to
recall that.
see that one much, but I did think it would be fun to make the evil one the healer.
I do recall being a little much.
But yeah.
Okay.
It would be prudent that you don't trust a word they say.
That's assuming we can trust your word, but you seem to be quite upstanding so far.
I try.
Man, I think an aspect of me called Eli would be much more inclined to take a look at this or investigate further of this spark of yours. You may have some other understanding of that sort of
That
thing.
we would have to report.
Well, this is interesting. I think we're all learning a bit more, and perhaps it's because we're becoming a bit more aware of ourselves. But that does leave one open blank spot as I turn to Stock. Have you met any gods recently?
No,
Are you a god?
we weren't, and then we were.
Elaborate.
A terrifying answer, if I'm honest.
There wasn't stock. Then
Mhm.
there was stock. Now we are stock.
Okay, understand that. The incarnation of being, sure. But there's no recollection of priors? Of other aspects? Hazy memories, dreams?
We are we.
I see. You are an enigma, Stock. Next time we
No,
find
we are.
ourselves in a dangerous situation, I would suggest you take the front. You are a pretty sturdy looking fella.
We are gelatinous.
Mm-hmm. I see that. It's very. You have left a little bit of a film on the floor, actually.
We'll need that back.
As the conversation continues on throughout like the night, the castle trundles onward, stomping through the outland expanses, the scenery changing around like from hour to hour as you make your way towards Fawn. On your 6th day of travel, you wake up, look out, and find yourselves in what seems to be a blinding sandstorm. And all of you are, do is just like muffledly playing in the background. All of you look out, and or as you make your way out after breakfast or whatever it is, you notice that Rini is nowhere to be seen.
Rini is going back to thingy.
Dragon.
The dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Also not on the castle crew.
Oh.
I'm realizing.
Yeah,
I guess that's.
I guess they're
because
not
was
really the
leaving.
crew. Yeah, not really part of the
they're
crew.
companion. They're a passenger at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
However, you do, after some quick investigation, you do find her standing out on one of the lower balconies, looking out into the distance. Her eyes have a little bit of an opalescent glow to them as she sniffs the air, the sand ripping around and swirling around the castle. As you see what looks to be like large, dark, looming shapes kind of in the distance. And as you observe for a few more moments, you see what looks to be a giant glowing shape, I would say. A giant glowing shape piercing through the sandstorm, and almost instantaneously the sandstorm dissipates as if the castle has walked through the eye of a hurricane. You find the castle standing amidst a massive desert with the massive bones of what looks to be dragons. They're large dragons, a little bit smaller dragons, strewn about, some fully buried, some half buried, wings, horns, rib cages, tails, and claws, all raised out of the ground. Looks to be a massive graveyard of dragons.
We're trying to raise Galcarond.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You see around as well, there's what seems to be crumbling buildings, fortresses, castles, things like that are all in different various states of ruin or disrepair falling into the sands as well. And from this expanse of ruins and ruined dragon bones rises a massive fortress in the center, and you see where that light was coming from in the sandstorm. On its towering facade, you see a brilliant light beaming from an opening that is shaped like an hourglass. High above this massive fortress, you see silhouettes of spring dragons circling in the sky.
Whoa.
Well, call
That's
me
something.
crazy, but this does not seem welcoming.
You're crazy.
Wow.
So, as you say that, Rini cries out. She says, "Stop the castle! Stop the castle!" From above.
Hey, stop the castle!
Once again, from one of the speaking tubes or in front of the little announcement tubes, you hear, "Oh, okay, hitting the brakes."
I just pull the red cord that goes around the tassel. I pull it down.
Can you listen to us anywhere that we're in the castle?
I don't like that answer.
Oh,
Just
boy.
say no.
Sure. As the castle comes to as the castle's mechanisms come to a halt while it lurches to a stop, you stare out over this ruinous expanse of sand and bones and castles, and Rini turns to you all and she says, I think I'm home. Thank you for taking me here.
Your home is a graveyard for your kind?
Wait,
There are all of these different versions of you.
She
fuck, where's the notes on this?
Time dragon, right?
Yeah.
Time dragon, yeah, but there was a note about looking for. I'm gonna keep looking through it.
She nods and she says, I'm not sure. Time dragons function in weird ways. Streams of time, strange occurrences, it's all part of the way that we work, but you saved me from that witch, and I appreciate it. Thank you all. And she like walks up to each of you and just kind of bows her. She bows her head, pushes it against like your leg or your arm or something like that. And before she takes off, she says, I don't have much in terms of gold or anything of value, but I do have this. And she, like a small dog or like a dog, she starts scratching at herself or like, biting at something, and she pulls something off. And then in her mouth, you see one of her scales.
Ooh.
Take this. Take this.
I
There's
trade her a banana for it.
She takes the banana, eats the banana, and you have a scale.
Banana
She
for
says-
scale.
She looks over her shoulder one more time. She looks over
God
her shoulder
damn
one
it.
last time before she says, Thank you. I have a feeling that our paths will cross again. And she
I think
beats
they
her,
already have, technically.
She beats her, her wings flap, and she lifts off and flies off towards the mausoleum.
Yeah, and actually to that, I'm thinking back to the vision we had. Where is this? So we
By
get
the
a
way-
vision of.
Here's the art of it.
Oh fuck!
That is
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sick.
a bronze dragon
was
dragon on
gonna make
steroids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, the notes here I have is that we get a vision of some badass versions of ourselves in a desert scene looking down on a massive silver structure. And we know that the Ramasupro is looking for the mausoleum of Chronepsis. Does this match the vision?
Yeah.
Oh, it says right there. Mausoleum. I didn't read that.
To be
So-
fair, that would be meta information. Yeah.
But so yeah, it's all good. So as Rini flies off into the distance towards this massive fortress, you hear from above, Can I start up the castle again? I don't like having it rest in so much sand. It gets in all the cracks and crevices, and it's gonna be hell to
You
get
said
out of
that
there.
it's coarse and irritating
coarse,
and it's
yeah.
everywhere?
Exactly. Somebody after my own heart. Can we
I
get
am
moving?
a robot.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking wistfully out at that massive structure. Yeah, we got places to be, but I think we'll be back here not too long from now.
Or very long from now, we don't know.
Well,
Well,
yes, fair enough. We don't know.
so
Robot.
as
What happened in the past, and we haven't experienced it, but it's already happened?
Please, I'm already struggling with the tiny dragon and the big. Please stop.
as the castle
Well, you see, time is a flat circle.
Oh,
Okay,
all right.
Wait. How close to the edge are we?
I was about to say, you hear from above, "Oh fuck!" and then a button gets pressed, and an eject button is
Yeah,
fucking
if-
launched
if-
into the distance.
If she didn't, I was going to.
As the castle re-engages and strides away, raising its feet from the sand, you pass back in, or you start to pass or head back towards the wall of the sandstorm. All of you see a shadow pass overhead, dwarfing covering the castle itself, and a massive shape settles atop a nearby ruin. You all watch as it unfurls its wings, and you see a gigantic time dragon with huge branching horns that pulse with opalescent energy. It locks eyes with all of you, looks over at the castle, locking eyes, and you all hear in your minds a whisper that says, "Call and I will be."
Whoa.
And with that, suddenly a portal of swirling colors opens up around the mighty dragon. The great worm backs into it and fades away as the portal.
So did anybody get a phone number to go with that?
I think
We
it was
got
more of a.
You look down at it, and the scale in your hands magically glows opalescent bright.
Cell phone.
The banana
It's a scale
phone.
phone, yeah. It's a banana phone.
You
No, I traded the banana
That's really
phone
cool, though.
for the scale phone.
you now are in possession of a supernatural
Oh shit!
Yeah, buddy.
time
That's like
of
you
time
said.
of the dragon. While holding the scale, you can use an action to summon Renus Supra, an adult time dragon. Dragon appears in an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within 60 feet of you and aids you for 10 minutes.
Let's fucking do it.
Okay.
We got Pocket
Okay.
Dragon now.
Pocket dragon, go! Holy
I'm
shit!
going to pass that off to someone who doesn't have. Oh, wait. I was going to say to someone who doesn't have another that would abuse it. But I don't think it's any of us. So.
We wouldn't abuse it.
I think Stock is the only one I feel really safe with, but we don't
Until
know.
he dies.
We
and
still
whatever
don't
the
know.
fuck creature occurs.
We don't know what else is out there.
I also just can't wait for whatever is next for Stock, whatever are the other two that pops up, and then immediately just is like, what the fuck is this skull in my body? Fucking drop kicks it into the distance. Peace out. That sucks. I'm gonna call this. It says Time of the Dragon. All players see this.
I have a does it make sense to say that we just all have access to it at all times, kind of a thing, or
Yeah,
would we
I
actually need
think
to
it would
pass
be
it off?
something that's to me. I think it's something that is now the let's say this is the image that we see here. It's the scale disintegrates, and you all suddenly have on some somewhere on your body, your wrist, your the back of your hand or something like that. There's a mark, this cryptic mark that has that opalescent ink kind of like
Probably an
opalescent-
hourglass. if I
Yeah,
had
an
to
hourglass.
guess.
Perfect. Yeah, there's an hourglass that is almost feels like it's like tattooed on there with like opalescent ink that changes color with the light. That
God, and by the way that the scales describe, then whoever uses it, we would all lose that mark then.
Mhm,
So we just
mhm.
have access to it.
yes, correct.
Okay. Mhm.
Also, this is the art for absolute.
Give it to me. Oh yeah.
Oh, that mustache game.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it
What is
s- sitting on? Yeah, I'm trying
An egg.
to.
Of
Oh,
itself.
shit.
Dude, it looks like
Oh,
That
an
came
yeah.
out of
acorn.
a cloaca?
No.
It,
It's
Okay.
always been.
Yeah.
It's something
okay.
weird and timely-wimey.
Yeah, and here's
So
the
the
here's the
it
art.
was-
Here's the art
it
with
was-
like the background, which is also
It
was-
Discord.
Whoa.
with all the stones that have
Oh.
been like the hourglass stones and stuff like that.
Honestly, that color, that pink gradient, purple pink gradient background with that opalescent halo
Oh yeah,
is just
this dragon
huge,
comes,
like
this
old
dragon
heavy
just
metal.
comes with synthwave
Yeah,
playing. in the
incredible.
background.
Incredible vibe there. It owns a air sprayed fan somewhere, or what do you call it? The fuck. What's that painting method on the vans? The fuck.
Airbrushing?
Airbrush van with like a heavy metal scene. Like,
Definitely
Yep.
got some dad brain if you forgot airbrush on the.
Paint gun.
So as we're gonna wrap for the session, but the last thing as you leave you make your way out of the sandstorm, castle stomps forward, and very soon you find yourselves outside of the funnel, which is looking very different, I would say, than what your pilot Zathir has described to you. It is
okay.
so what you see as you arrive is more or less the call. I'll read the description. So you, as the castle approaches funnel and comes to a stop, the calls of wildlife echo through a region where varied types of wilderness meet. You see forests, savannas, rocky deserts, mangrove swamps, tundras, and more, forming a wild patchwork. A faint ribbon of smoke leads to a collection of what looks to be temporary structures that form a modest trading camp amid a sparse woodland. And as the castle draws closer, the eyes of the Mimir within stock glow. It looks, basically, it almost looks like a
It's like a zoo.
Yep, exactly. And
Yeah.
also, this looks like there is a burst of something here, like a. And actually, why don't we just we'll end with a roll. If all of you want to, give me a those who are observing, give me an Arcana check.
Aha.
I absolutely.
Mediocre.
Snowball is one who will clock it
Mhm.
as.
The cat recognizes the animal stuff?
So I know the you're the one. So Snowball, as you look at this, you realize you like trace the lines of all these like different of these like natural regions that are all kind of butting up against each other, and you
Yeah.
realize you remember the description. I think either Zathir or somebody else within Sigil described about like these gate towns. There are instances where the balance of the Outlands reaches a tipping point. Sometimes the gate towns get consumed by the plane that they're connected, and this looks like an example of that, where whatever gate town, the gate town of Faunal that was here before or recently, has been consumed by the Beastlands. Very recent.
That might make our job a little difficult.
Yeah, but then
No,
we also get
because
to like go
this is a
direct.
This is a
into
new
it.
gate town. If the gate is still there, that's all we need information on is the whatever it is that surrounds the gate.
Yeah, the gates never change. So the gates are always there.
Yeah.
It's just the whatever is around the gates sometimes can be volatile.
Yeah.
As
And
of
now it might be more difficult to get to said gate.
Oh, sure, maybe. Or maybe it'll
Well,
be easier. Maybe there's
We'll have to
less
figure it out, yeah, when we get there.
taking place.
Oh. So the castle comes to a halt, stops,
Place where the trail-
plonks down, and we'll pick up there next time.
Huzzah!
Solid session back.
Ooh. I love it. I've been missing this. Fun
Let's
stuff.
go.
Yeah, thanks for
Especially
having,
getting
thanks
some,
for
like,
having
solid-
a solid like 20 minutes there of RP convo where I just got to like drink some beer and like look at my notes.
I honestly missed that part of D&D a lot. Like getting
Mhm.
back into that and like, oh, I took a whole bunch of notes off that conversation too, and places to take that. And also this whole time, I'm saying Isaac's been sleeping this whole time, and as I look down, he's just starting to wake up.
Perfect.
Finds your
Well,
D&D
he's-
action to be ASMR enough.
Yeah. Well, he's sleeping on the bed with DM, so I'm gonna have to go help get him some more for food, and then I'll probably hold on to him for a little bit. But I'll be
Sounds good.
around. I'll
All
be
right.
around tonight.
I'm gonna end this. I'll be around for a little bit at my place. I might see if I got. But yeah, good stuff. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Please.